The fact that the United States has the highest business tax rates in the world in an increasingly global economy, it just doesn't work anymore. It's, you know, the way I like to put it, it's our business tax system in the United States is a Head Start program for every country we compete with. It just makes no sense. And we're seeing companies leave the United States and building factories abroad, and it's hurting the American worker. And I think Americans get it and they feel it. And if we were to go from having one of the highest business tax rates in the world to one of the lowest, now all of a sudden the magnet is reversed, and now all of a sudden you're sucking capital and businesses back into the United States. We saw this effect under Ronald Reagan when you had a net $1 trillion of imported capital into the United States once tax rates and regulations came down on business. So I think the opportunity here is enormous. I'm very hopeful and optimistic that this is going to get done, perhaps in the first 6 months of the Trump administration. I don't like the idea of dealing with Obamacare first and then, you know, sequentially doing it later. If I were Donald Trump, I'd do this right out of the gate. I think it's the thing that has the maximum economic impact. And, you know, for people who don't quite get it, you know, how is a lower business tax rate going to help workers? I think it's real simple. I mean, if you want healthy, good-paying jobs, you have to have healthy businesses and profitable businesses, and you have to have them investing here, not in China and Mexico and Germany and other countries. And the way to do that is through this combination of regulatory relief and a much lower business tax rate. And I happen to think, actually, if we, let's say, cut our business tax rate in half from, say, 35 to, you know, somewhere between 15 and 20%, I don't even think the federal government is going to lose much revenue, because we're going to get so many more businesses in this country and so much more investment. And the way I like to put it is, what's a bigger number, 35% of nothing or 20% of something? What I think is most possible and probable is to get the business tax rates down and really deal with all the myriad problems with our corporate taxation and our taxation of small business. And then if I were Donald Trump, that's where I would really aim my fire and get that corporate tax rate down to 15 or 20%, you know, a la the Trump plan and the House plan, with a repatriation to bring the capital that's you know, stuck overseas back into the United States. We think that could raise, you know, as much as $100 billion of revenue for the government. And if you just even do those two things, of getting the business tax rate down and have the repatriation, I think the economic benefits would be enormous. And I think you could do a bill like that that actually could attract a lot of Democrat votes as well. Real tax reform depends on getting the tax rates in the United States down as low as possible, because when you have high tax rates, it distorts things, it leads to misallocation of capital, it leads to investment leaving the United States out of this country. It's anti-worker. And I think you could get a great coalition together of businesses and labor unions and worker groups to say, this is good for America, it's good for the American worker, and it's good for American shareholders. So this is an interesting coalition. I've been back here with the Rate Coalition 3 or 4 times this year, and it's an enormously important organization. If we can get all the business groups and Democrats and Republicans, I love the fact that they're all at the table here at the Rate Coalition, all moving in the same direction. And look, we're not going to get everything we want, right? That's not the way politics works. But, you know, some groups are going to have to give up a little bit here, and other groups are going to get a little bit there. But that's how we got the big tax cuts done in the 1980s under Reagan. And so it's a really positive thing that we have a group like the Rate Coalition that is advocating nonstop for get those tax rates down as low as possible. And when you have a low rate and a broad tax base, you've got a super efficient tax system.